Hey guys, wanted to make sure I got a vlog out. It's been a terrible week in Maryland for weather. I mean, it looks like probably most of the East Coast has been getting hit, but we had ice and a snowstorm. I got stuck in Florida, which wasn't the worst thing that ever happened to me, but back here we had just so many issues. We had people trapped in their houses with the ice. It took 3 days to get some people out due to so much ice. We couldn't even get skid steers and heavy equipment up to some of the more rural properties that we manage. And of course, then losing 3 days of work, basically Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, were dead. Most of my crews couldn't get out. Anybody without four-wheel drive was pretty unsafe on the road, so that was nerve-wracking considering we have so many trucks on the road. The winter is tough. It gets dark early. It kind of makes me a little depressed. I don't want to say depressed because there are people actually out there with real depression, but when I get home and it's like 5 o'clock and it's dark, I just feel like I'm ready to go to bed. Now I'm on a serious ramp up to 70.3 Ironman Puerto Rico, and I can't get enough heat training in. Ran 5 miles the first, or ran like a total of 12 or 13 miles when I was down in Miami, and the heat really got to me. So of course Puerto Rico is going to be warm, and I am concerned about that. So we'll see how that goes. We have 6 weeks to prepare. My coach has told me that I shouldn't be doing my trainer workouts like dressed up in hoodies and stuff, which is what I've been doing. So I've been doing some sauna training, trying to get acclimated to the heat. This is my first long course triathlon early in the season. Usually I save the long course stuff for later in the season because the winters, it gets cold and we train less, and you need to give your body some time to recover. But this year we saw the opportunity to go to Puerto Rico and do that race, which looks like a beautiful race. It's an ocean swim, or a bay, I guess, but it's open water swim with a flat 56-mile bike, and then a very, very hilly half marathon at the end. So we'll see how that goes. I haven't done much hill training, and I haven't done any heat training. I haven't even been able to ride a bike outside. There's ice and snow everywhere. Definitely not taking my tri-bike out. That's just a death trap in this kind of thing, this kind of weather. Would love to get out and do some mountain biking, which is fun and good cross training, but can't even do that because all the trails are frozen with ice. So we are just riding our trainer inside, and the longest I've done is probably like 2 hours. Luckily, my baseline fitness coming off of Ironman Maryland is pretty good, but my wattage is way down. My strength on the bike feels like I've lost a lot of wattage. So we'll see how that goes. We're going to use this as a primer race, and then hopefully going to get in some Olympic distance races between Puerto Rico, and then I signed up for Eagleman. We got a good group of people doing Eagleman this year. A lot of people doing Eagleman this year. So that was my PR course last year. Pending the weather, hopefully we get good weather this year. I hope to beat my PR from last year. And that's kind of the good thing about doing the same race, because like last year in Maine, we swam so fast because it was downriver, and I came out of the water on such a high with the time that I got, and the bike was just absolutely brutal. It would be straight downhill to a turn, so you never really got to use the speed, and then the run was super hilly. So every course is different. When you do the same course twice, like I've done St. Anthony's down in St. Pete twice, we've done a couple of courses twice where you can actually focus on getting a PR. So we are looking to be sub 5 hours at Maryland, which might be a little lofty. I think I was like 5:19 last year, but if I could do sub 5 hours at Eagleman this year, I'll be super stoked. My swimming, getting a lot better. I'm feeling a lot more fluid in the water. So I think my swim time, as long as I can sight properly and not swim in zigzags, I will be good. I will be definitely PRing the swim, pending the weather. Of course, if it's choppy or something, it might slow me down, but feeling real good in the water. And on the business side, we are hacking away at the winter, focusing in on the marketing, focusing in on these videos, on making sure that we have a good pipeline coming into the spring and the summer. We have a couple of cool trips coming up besides Puerto Rico. We're going to Costa Rica to do some fishing, down with a couple of business partners of mine. Kind of going to do a little mastermind, real estate mastermind, and fishing. That will be really fun, get away from this weather. The nice part about going down there, Costa Rica, Puerto Rico, it's closer to the equator, so it stays light longer. I think one of my biggest issues here is the darkness. It's you wake up in the dark, we get to the gym in the dark, we get home from work in the dark, and it is it's just brutal. So hoping that some of that sunshine will cure some of this seasonal depression that we got going on, but no excuses. We got to get after it. We have a good group of guys going to Puerto Rico and a good group of guys that are training consistently with us every day. So all of that is good. Unfortunately, this weather is slowing down some of the progress on some of our new builds, which is really painful for cash flow because we're waiting on a lot of money in draws. For example, we have a foundation dug and the groundworks are in for the plumbing, but nobody can inspect it because there's 5 or 6 inches of ice covering all of the groundworks. So now I have basically a big hole in the ground full of ice, and I either have to pay somebody to go take it all out, which would be insanely expensive and time consuming, or I just have to wait it out, and we're paying interest on the loan. And we don't get cash, we don't get money draws from the bank until we get through certain checkpoints. So I need to get vertical and need to get framed in on that house before I get any more money. So that's one issue that we're running into, and so I'll check back in. I'll get some B-roll around at some of the different projects that we're doing. We're doing some really cool kitchens and bathrooms and custom stuff. I swore off all investor work. I'm not working for investors anymore. The only investors that we are doing work for are ourselves. So we're buying a lot of land, we're building a lot of houses, but all of those clients are us, not others. Investors, I love most investors that I come in contact with, but they're there to make money, and unfortunately in the contracting world, I've found out the hard way. If you're doing it right and you're following all the rules and you're paying your workers' compensation, you're paying all the correct insurances and the overhead that you have to take on to run a successful contracting business, the investors are either not making money because you have to charge a fair amount, or you're not making money because the investors are trying to make the money. So there's just not enough spread to be a true investor-friendly contractor if you're doing it by the book, right? And that's one thing that we focused on this year. We hired Growth Solutions. They were a consulting firm that helped us get all of our stuff in order to scale to the next level. And unfortunately, with scaling comes expenses. So we had a lot of added expenses and overhead that we had to kind of just buck up and pay. And when you do that, your prices have to go up. And when your prices go up, you're going to lose some clients. Lucky for us, we gained better clients on the homeowner side and lost the clients that didn't want to pay. So that's where we're at. I will check back in next week. Let me know if there's anything you guys want to see or want me to talk about. Happy to do a consultation with anybody that's trying to get into real estate, construction, property management. God bless you if you're trying to get into property management.
All right, we are done with work. We are going to do a 6-mile run. I'm going to try my best to keep this damn hoodie on, to do some heat training and add some elevation, just a 2% grade, to get ready for Puerto Rico, which is going to be a challenge with all the hills and the heat, and it's something that I am not ready for. So we'll see how this goes. I did a bike workout yesterday with the hoodie on, and it sucked. The last like 10 or 15 minutes I took it off and went shirtless. I turned my heat up, turned the fan off, so we'll see. I should probably leave this camera running just in case I pass out and fall over. At least I got some good blooper content. We're 6 weeks out from Puerto Rico, and I definitely feel really good in the water. I think I said this before, but my bike and my run, we need to work on. So we're out here getting it. We're on basically the ramp up until 2 weeks out. We'll slow down a little bit, but right now we're trying to get in as much volume as possible. And just listening to my coach, and she's raced Puerto Rico before, so she's kind of giving me the warning on the hills and the heat. I'm excited for that one. And then Eagle Man will be my PR course this year, hopefully. So getting after it. We have a bunch of projects that are wrapping up and a bunch of new ones that are starting. So I've been kind of doing 2-a-days, in the morning working out a couple hours, and then now in the evening working out a couple hours. Well, not a couple hours in the evening. Now it'll be probably about an hour. But you gotta love the grind, and you gotta dedicate a lot of time. So here we are. Hopefully you guys get motivated, get after it, and we'll see you on the next video.